and welcome to the next Friday Fun Fact. This week we're doing something a little bit different. It's Shakespeare's birthday, but instead of giving you a short synopsis of his life, I'll be giving you a short synopsis of all of his plays, speedrun style. Now, without further ado... Wait, I do have further ado. Before we get there, these are obviously intended for humor, and aren't necessarily the opinions of the library itself, just me. Now, without further ado, Shakespeare's histories, tragedies, and comedies. First up, the histories. King John. A weak king makes several bad decisions. His one and only good decision, the Magna Carta, is not even in his play. Richard II. Richard II is really bad at his job, and people really need to tell him. Aw man, not like that! Henry IV Part 1. Well, Richard's gone. Now what? I sure hope my son and heir doesn't become a layabout rapscallion. Henry IV Part 2. If only my son wasn't a layabout rapscallion, I could finally die. Henry V. That layabout rapscallion actually shapes up for once and invades France. Henry VI Part 1. The War of the Roses. Henry VI Part 2. The War of the Roses 2. Electric Boogaloo. Henry VI Part 3. The War of the Roses 3. Tokyo Drift. Richard III. Richard III plots to take the throne and in the process invents every villain monologue ever. Next up, the tragedies. Antony and Cleopatra. Interesting, intelligent queen gets dragged in the mud by a fool who thinks he's all that. Coriolanus. Man can't shut up for literally 2 seconds and it ruins his entire life. Cymbeline. Your proto-90s rom-com can have some beheadings. As a treat. Hamlet. I'll avenge my father if you let me whine about my feelings first. Julius Caesar. We all know he dies on the Ides of March. This is what happens when you don't listen to your wife. King Lear. Sometimes tragedy just runs in the family. Macbeth. Taking advice from strangers is never ideal, but Macbeth hears one compliment and is immediately down for murder. Othello. Man falls for fake news. Kills wife. Romeo and Juliet. Teen falls in love at first sight and then proceeds to make more consecutive bad decisions than a college freshman drunk for the first time. Timon of Athens. You learn who your true friends are when you're broke and can no longer buy them food. Titus Andronicus. A lesson on why eye for an eye doesn't work, not least of all because you eventually run out of limbs. Nice pie though. Troilus and Cressida. All's fair in love and war, except it really isn't because Achilles is still a whiny baby. And finally, the comedies. All's well that ends well. Tricking someone into bed is totally fine and not alarming in the slightest. As You Like It. Cross-dressing in a woodland romp lead to multiple marriages. The Comedy of Errors. 2 sets of identical twins could never make this much chaos, right? Measure for Measure. Tricking someone into bed is totally fine and not alarming in the slightest. Why does this keep happening? The Merchant of Venice. Chock full of harmful Jewish stereotypes. That's it, that's the summary. Avoid. The Merry Wives of Windsor. Wooing 2 women at the same time is almost always a bad idea. A Midsummer Night's Dream. A forest is full of bickering couples. Somehow, unauthorized love potions both wreck and fix everything. Much Ado About Nothing. 2 snarky interesting people and 2 bland boring people get married because of and despite of meddling on all sides. The Taming of the Shrew. Berating your wife into changing her entire personality is totally fine and not alarming in the slightest. Here we are again, I really hope this is satire. The Tempest. Do not meddle in the affairs of wizards, for you are easily shipwrecked and beset upon by matchmaking. Twelfth Night. Cross-dressing, twins, and confused identities create way more complicated plots than necessary. 2 Gentlemen of Verona. Betrayals, banishment, and bands of outlaws cause these 2 gentlemen to show their true colors. And finally, The Winter's Tale. Letting yourself be consumed by jealousy is a bit like being pursued by a bear. It only ever ends well for one party in the scenario. Phew! That's it. That's all 37 of them. Well, I hope you had fun. Like and subscribe for more Friday Fun Facts. And I'll see you next time.